Hey, so I was about to create a new project in Zuplo, and I thought it might be fun to actually record the whole exercise and the whole process pretty much unedited. We might speed some things up. I haven't practiced this, so it'll be a little bit out there. But I was just about to create a new API for some research I'm doing. And I thought showing you the process of creating this API using Zuplo and ChatGPT from OpenAI might be useful. It's going to be very simple. I want to show you just how quickly you can put together a simple API and get it live with a technique like this. So this is going to be an API that generates a nice sort of writable, readable random name. It's not going to be GUID unique, but it'll create a name that is like orange giant elephant or pink small koala. 3 combinations of different words picked at random, and we're going to get ChatGPT to do most of the work here and Zuplo to do the heavy lifting of actually creating an API and even maybe having a little bit of documentation. So let's go and create the project right now. Over here, we're going to call it the Randomnameatron. Yeah, actually, let's I told you this wasn't rehearsed. Randomnameatron. There we go. That's a beautiful API name. That's the name of my project. Typically be ready in about 20 seconds for me to start coding here. And we're going to use ChatGPT a lot. So once I've just described the rough shape of this API, I'm going to come into my routes file here. We're going to have one route that is, I think we're just going to do a get, and it's going to be called generate random name. You never know, we might need versioning. So let's go with some versioning. /v1 / random name. I guess is good because we're going to do a get on random name. It's going to give you a different answer every time. It's not. It's going to give you, it's going to give you a new string each time. I think we'll make it a JSON string so that people can like JSON parse the response. And because we're not sort of using the gateway as a passing onto another API, we're actually going to build our API here. I'm going to change this to be a function, and I could use the hello world file, but let's not be lazy. Let's create a new module. So I'm going to create a new module called random name gen. Let's create that. That will create the file for me and hook it up here as my handler. Okay, that's done. And I'm also going to need now some lists, and I'm going to get ChatGPT to do the work for me here. So I'm going to come into ChatGPT and create a new question. So let's set up ChatGPT so it does this correctly. I am going to ask you to create me some lists. I want the responses. Oh, you can make typos with ChatGPT. I want the responses in JavaScript, actually JSON, as an array with lowercase values. Example. Bob, Sandra, and there might be some green Sandra, just in case they decide they want to come up with an animal that has a space in the name. We'll accept spaces, and I'll just replace them with a dash if we get any. Okay, so let's select that. Yep, understood. So the list, the first list is a list of colors. As many as you can think of. Let's see how this does. So it might take a while to analyze. I think this is one of the points where we'll speed the video up. Okay, I'm sure I could get it to do a longer list with some work here. For some reason, it kind of got bored. I've definitely seen it generate longer lists than this, so I could do that. But this is fine for now. So I'm just going to copy this text here and create a new module. Called an empty module. Let's call this data, I guess. And I'm going to create a const colors equals boom. There's our colors. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT and say, now I would like you to generate another list. Oh. With as many, well, actually, let's be specific, with 250 animals. I always like to be polite to the AI because it's going to take over one day and I want it to think kindly of me. Okay, so as you can see, it has created some things with a space in, so we must be careful. Where's an example? Definitely was one or two. Eagle right here. So we definitely need to remember to replace spaces, and we're going to give people the chance to choose what spacer they want. I'm going to use a dash by default. And it did have an error processing this. I don't know what's up today. You know, ChatGPT isn't exactly reliable all the time, so we'll take it, but we can fix this up. So I'm going to just copy all of the text it gave me, and then we're going to go back to Zuplo here and say const animals equals, paste that in, and then we just need to close that. And we're pretty good. Okay. And then I want some adjectives. So let's, I don't want it to regenerate. I just want to, generate me a list of adjectives. Ideally safe for work and not mean. I don't want any ugly adjectives in there if possible. All lowercase and in a JSON array, please. Things like huge, clean, smart, fast. I would like 100 examples. Okay, so here are my adjectives. Perfect. Careless is a little mean, I think, but anyway. Let's go and dump this in. So const adjectives equals that. Lovely. And then I'm going to export these. So that I can use them in my code elsewhere. Okay, so now we're going to go to random name generator. I'm actually going to get ChatGPT's help here as well. So can you, oh, here it comes in with this stuff. Let me just stop it now. It's running slow today. Can you write me some JavaScript? Actually, let's be specific. Some TypeScript. To generate TypeScript that is a function that will return a random string based on selecting strings from 3 arrays. That is, there will be, I'm not doing a very good job here, I'm going to confuse it. There will be 3 arrays containing strings, and you will randomly pick an entry from each. The function should take an optional parameter for the spacer. By default, the spacer should be, but it can be overridden. Let's see what we get. I mean, not that this would be a super hard function to write, but I just don't like thinking when I can get someone else to do it for me. Okay, this looks pretty nice actually. And I think the only change we'll have to make is we'll have to remember to replace the spaces inside the entries. So yeah, they've defaulted. This is really nice. Get random string. Yeah, they've set the default. I actually am just going to hard code array 1 and array 2. So I'm going to import from /data animals adjectives colors, and I'm gonna say colors first, adjectives second, and animals third, and then we don't need these. And then the spacer, and then I do just need to say here dot replace comma spacer, because the on the wrong one, I've done that on the wrong one. The animals did have some spaces. In fact, we should just probably do it on all of them just to be safe in case I change the data. It's good defensive programming. So I think we've almost done it here. Get random string. So this function now needs to return get random string and the spacer. So what are we going to pass in as the spacer? So we're going to get that from a query string. So const spacer equals request.query.spacer. And if that is null or undefined, then I'm going to use dash. And so now I can just pass in spacer and that should work. And we automatically serialize the JSON in this case and add the JSON header. So let me just save this and go back over here and let's see how we're getting on. Let's test it. Let's see how bad I and ChatGPT did together. Fuchsia Quick Night Monkey. Pretty good. Indigo Early Stable Antelope. Teal Wet Pufferfish. Yellow Lazy Hyena. Pretty impressive, huh? Pretty impressive. That is an API. Let's just add a little bit of documentation here. So I'm going to come in, version, the random name Randomnameatron. This API will generate a random name for you that is relatively easy to remember, read, and type. It consists of a color dash adjective dash animal. Try it out. I need a comma here. And then we should add a bit of a description here. This is the method. This is the one. Use this one. Just do a get. And we will do some random magic for you. Pretty simple API with just one endpoint. But we should also add some extra stuff in here. So I think let's talk about parameters. And we have a name, we had spacer. So we need to document this. In query, so it tells us the query string. Schema, I think we just simply say type is string here, if I'm getting this right. Allow empty value is true. Required is false. And description. This allows you to override the spacer between words. By default, it is dash. We'll use a little bit of markdown here. Okay, so let's go over to our developer console now. We should actually have a working developer portal that describes this, and with a bit of luck, yeah, okay, there we go. The Randomnameatron, generate random name. This is the method, this is the one, use this one, just do a get, and we'll do some random magic for you. Lovely, there we go. So if we test that, what could be easier? And we're even getting the content type application JSON back. So pretty easy to create, pretty easy and pretty fun to create a simple API here that I'm going to use in a bunch of upcoming samples and examples that I'm going to work on. I thought it'd just be fun to show you the making the, the sausage making in progress. So hope that was useful. Cheers.